Okay, there.
It made me hungry though, man. My stomach is growling like crazy.
I'm starving today. Go live here. All right, we're back, and we're doing listener questions for a Friday. All right. We should be set. Okay. So if you have questions, put them in the comments either on Instagram. Hello to Amanda and Laurie and Miss Joan W. Port, Elizabeth, Philip, S. Westerman, everybody over on Instagram. Everybody here on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch and Twitter and everywhere. Okay, here we go.
All the places.
All the places. So Friday will be the 17th. This will be a holiday weekend, actually.
It will be.
Oh, Richard, no, you just missed the greatest episode.
I don't know if it was necessarily the greatest this year.
No,
though,
you didn't miss the greatest, but you tried. You get to hear it in like 48 hours.
Hope you're doing well, Richard, man. Missed you over marathon weekend.
Absolutely.
But your texts were so encouraging, though. That I don't know if I told you that, Mike. I'm just running out there, and Richard is like firing me messages, like tracking me on the race, man. Like that's so awesome. People are like not even there cheering you on. I love it when that happens.
That is the best. That keeps you moving. That is all. God, that is the best. It gives me goosebumps. That is awesome. Da, 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 da. Oh, he heard. Okay, good. He heard some of the romantic episode. It was solid. Good. It was when Ricky's like, Lucy's got a fever and I got to go pick her up. I'm like, oh no. That was when I was eating my sandwich. I was like, no, but your baby's sick. I get it. Okay, here we go.
Sean's right though, man. Like Lions could have handled both of those squads last night. Just saying, but
man, that was a punt fest. The 49ers, man, taking the ball first. I don't know what they're thinking.
Yeah, that was a hot topic at lunch with me and my friend Jake today. We spent like an hour and 15 rehashing the whole game, like over lunch. But I think the thought was because it's like a new rule, right? So like no one really knows like how that's going to play out. But like if they both would have scored a touchdown, then the Niners had the ball, and then if they score, they win because then it's sudden death. So that might have been the thought process, but yeah, exactly. They wanted the ball third because if they both score equal points on the first drive, then it's sudden death. So then you want to have the ball.
Yeah, I guess.
But
I'm used to college.
But against the Chiefs, like I just don't know. Like I would like to know, like if the Chiefs would have scored a touchdown, then okay, I have 4 downs. And then the rest of this.
I'm used to college, so you want to know what the opponent.
Yeah.
Does.
But then if they score a touchdown and match, then they have to stop the Chiefs on the next one because then it's next score wins. So they wanted to have the ball third. I mean, it's tough. It's a tough call.
Dude, I knew when they just got a field goal. I was like, dude, Mahomes is gonna go down and score a touchdown. I just knew it. Like I was like, they're done.
Yeah. I heard that too, Sean. Andy Reid said they would have gone for 2. Like, I know that would have been crazy. Like if the Niners scored a touchdown, then she scored a touchdown, boom, you go for 2. Like, I mean, like, oh man, like, but
that's such a wild game.
It was wild. I mean, it was a wild game.
We watched it with Sandy and Andy. I was like, this is nuts. I was like, I'm just glad I don't have a dog in the race because I couldn't take overtime.
Yeah.
It killed me. Okay, here we go. This is Friday. Okay. By the way, if you have listener questions, put them in the chat for us. I think I said that already. Okay.
Man, that should have been the Lions out there.
Friday's the 16th.
It kills me.
16th. I put it somewhere the wrong date. I probably did. Thank you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth's on it. Thank you, Elizabeth. Okay, here we go.
My Elizabeth?
Nope. On Instagram. Here we go. Welcome to episode 2437 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rahman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. Hope you had a great week and getting ready for a nice weekend here in the States. A lot of folks, 3-day weekend. Why couldn't we have a 3-day weekend last weekend? We had the Super Bowl and, everybody's a little tired. We had a little OT game there and people were dragging into work on Monday, but hey, it's worth it. We had a good game to watch, and a lot of folks were happy, I guess, unless you lived in the Bay. And good game, lots of fun entertainment at halftime and all that good stuff. But now baseball season around the corner, so that means spring is around the corner. A lot of folks planning great spring break trips to Walt Disney World. Summer will be here for all those summer vacations, summer cruises, and all that stuff. So good times ahead of us. And today we're flipping it up because we had Valentine's Day back on Wednesday. Hope you enjoyed that show. I know it was a little bit off the rails because Pam was busy. Ricky had a sick child. So you got Is This Romantic with two Yahoos here. So we did the best we could. But hopefully you enjoyed it today. Listener questions on a Friday to close out the week. So if you have questions and you're tuned in here live in all the places, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, drop those in the comments. We'll get to those right away. But joining me here, it's my brother from another mother, which we went out to eat virtually together on Wednesday's show. Man, we went to T-Rex Cafe, and I'm still wanting to have those St. Louis style ribs 48 hours later. Scotty G. What's up, Scott?
Hey, Mike, how about those nachos, though? Those were the sleeper for me. But yeah. So you talked about the spring getting here. Like, you can kind of see my window here a little bit at 6 o'clock local as we're recording, and it's still light. This is like, America. Dude, it's just like, and I've seen the sun like 3 out of the last 4 days, which is like unheard of this time of year. So it's like, it's funny because like normally President's Weekend, I'm ready to get out of here because like I'm over winter. We've gone to Walt Disney World several times over President's Weekend, but this year we're staying low because we're going to do the big spring break trip instead. But I'll tell you, like, there's hope that warm weather is coming. We had a couple of nice days last week too. I think you probably did too, Mike. But there's hope when the sun is staying out longer. It means spring is coming in. I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, knock on wood. We've had a pretty mild winter here in the Midwest. I mean, not terrible. Well, really, the good news is the really super cold, like below zero weather was when we were like Disneyland.
Yeah, I came back to a lot of snow when we were at Disneyland, but that was about it.
Yeah, that's the time to have it. Like
we've been pretty lucky so far.
We have been. Real quick, so we didn't talk about this on Wednesday's show, kind of recapping, we mentioned the Super Bowl. What was your favorite commercial? We're not going to talk football, but was there a commercial that stuck out for you that you liked the best?
It's the one everyone's talking about, the Dunkin' Donuts one. I think it was pretty great.
Yeah, that was a good one. I agree.
I liked that one.
Yeah,
big fan of the halftime show too. Like I loved that halftime show. And then when like Lil Jon was there, I said to Elizabeth, like, Ludacris better be there, right? Ludacris is going to be there. And Elizabeth was like, I don't know, like, is he in jail or anything? Like, no, I'm like, Ludacris has his stuff together, man. That guy is like, he's smart, man. He's not in jail. Like, I don't know. It was like the most random thing. Like I thought she said, but like, I got so excited when I saw Ludacris come out. Like that was a super cool halftime show, man. I've been loving what they've been doing the last few years.
It was totally like my two worlds colliding because, it was like, I swore I told Pam, I was like, dude, they're like on the grid. They're in Tron outfits. It was like either Tron or it was the guys from Dodgeball.
Yeah, I said that Elizabeth too. It looks very Tronish out here. Yeah.
And then when they were on roller skates, I was like, is Usher on skates? I was like, this is unreal.
It was amazing.
Because like, okay, so we had like, you had different kind of skating rinks in St. Louis when I grew up, right? So you had, like our skating rink, but then you had another skating rink you could go to like one night of the week, and it was like we called the shuffle skate, right? Where you would do the shuffle skating, like where everybody, the disco skating. And we would go there, like it was Monday nights. Dude, so like they play, the real bassy music, the disco music, and you'd slide. It was called sliding. And so you get your quads on. You wouldn't wear your inlines. You'd wear your quads. You wouldn't lace your skates up. And dude, that's the most fun skating. There's a place called Saints. And I was like, oh, dude, they're sliding. And it was just like, I was like, oh, man, my world.
It looked cool.
Oh, I can't believe like he skated well.
I know Usher did good. He was like dancing, skating. Alicia Keys was out there too. Like you had that band out there. At first, I couldn't tell if the band was actually playing, but I think they were actually playing out there. I just thought it was well done. I know there's always like lots of opinions on commercials and halftime show. I mean, I almost feel like that's what the Super Bowl is more about, is for like Monday debates at work.
Yeah,
but I generally enjoy like everything in life, and I really loved that. It was my style, and I just had a great time watching it.
Same. I thought it was fun. It was fun. Yeah, the Super Bowl is just, it's a good time to get together with friends and just watch the game. When your team's in it, I think you're like hyper focused on the result. And when you're, and I understand like the Lions were a whisker away from being in it, but like, since I didn't have a team, I got to kind of just sit back because I'm not a big, you might think I'm a big Chiefs fan. I mean, I was glad to see a couple Mizzou guys win another, Super Bowl. I was glad for them. I was happy for them, but I'm not a big Chiefs fan. Like, even though I'm a Missouri guy. I was just in it to just watch it and enjoy it. And we had good food too. I was destroying some wings, but it was just fun. Like you say, just to watch commercials, watch halftime, just have a good, it was good. It was fun. So anyway, today, let's get to the questions. If you have questions, drop them in the comments. First one is actually a comment from our good friend Julie, who always listens over in Scotland. And she says, Underdog Restaurants feedback, because we did about that Underdog Restaurant show last week. She says, hey, Mike.
I was bummed I missed that episode. That would sound like a fun one.
I know, but you're here today. So here we go. Hope you're having a great week. I just finished listening to Friday's show and had to reach out. It felt like you planned the show just for our family. We have a 2-week trip this July, staying 1 week at Caribbean Beach and 1 week in the Tower at Coronado Springs. We've never stayed at either, and food is a big part of our trip. So this show has us totally psyched. I know Sebastian's is amazing, but hadn't thought much about Banana Cabana, so we'll definitely check that out. And Siesta's Cantina at Coronado wasn't on my radar at all, but it definitely is now. Walking Nachos, come on. There's so many great dining options at Coronado. We'll need to have lunch and dinner there for the whole week. This is why I love the show. It makes each trip better. Each day is a Disney school day. Thanks so much for a great show, Julie in Scotland. She says, P.S. Skipper Canteen is #1 Underdog restaurant. So glad it got a shout out. So there you go.
Nice. That was a good comment. I like it.
All the way over in Scotland. And yeah, we try to have fun, like on Wednesday show. We try to bring up fun topics and fun ways to just discuss places that maybe is off your radar, right? We had a discussion for 15 minutes on Wednesday about T-Rex. We had not talked about that restaurant probably in ever on this podcast. But I mean, maybe that's a place your nephew or your daughter will enjoy, or you. I mean, I'll be honest to God, I'm 50 years old and I am really wanting to go there when we go down for our cruise. I mean, I've been in there and it is super cool. Like it's really loud in there. I mean, it is really loud, but I mean, is the food going to be good there? Probably not. It's probably like Applebee's food, but I don't care. That's my jam. I'm not going to be sad. Dude, if there's a brontosaurus over my shoulder, bring it. So that's kind of the goal of the show. All right. We have some other questions here from Howard. Hey folks, I'm hoping to run the 5K during marathon weekend next January. I'm new to Run Disney and have some questions. I know registration is April 9th, and I've created a Run Disney account. Number 1, what time during the 9th does registration open? Number 2, should I expect the race to fill up within minutes or hours after registration opens? And 3, any tips? Thanks. Howie is up in Canada. So he's new to this whole thing and wants to take first steps running a 5K. And I say, Howie, welcome to Run Disney. If you're watching the video, we're both clad in our Run Disney gear as we do the podcast right here. And this is where we all started. This was us, a decade and a half ago when we kind of, got into all this. But, you're asking the right things, because for marathon weekend, you have to be prepared, and you've already taken the first step. You've created a Run Disney account and you're asking questions so that you'll be ready to go on April 9th. So Scott, give Howard some good advice here, so he is ready to rock when the time comes.
Yeah. So just be prepared. I don't know exactly what time it opens. So let's just throw out a number and say like 10 o'clock is when registration starts. I would want to like log in and be ready like around, it's going to like blow your mind a little bit, but this is like how we are trained with the Disney way. Be ready like at 9:15 maybe, like to just kind of log in and just like keep refreshing your screen, because sometimes the registration will launch before the actual time that it's set. So I would just have like maybe your iPad or your phone device and maybe like a couple of browsers on your computer just up and running. And sometimes like, you can kind of refresh it, and then boom, there'll be a link that you said like join the queue, click on that button. And then the key from there is don't refresh, because then you're like in a queue. So you're going to be assigned a queue number. And then once it's time to register, it's going to like basically take you to the registration page. But don't refresh once you're in there, because then it might like kick you back to the bottom of the line basically. So So, just kind of watch the browsers. Hopefully you have some free time at work or whatever you're doing where you can focus on that for a little bit, like maybe block your calendar off, take an early lunch of some sort, or go in late for work, however that works, just so that you can make sure that you have some time to focus on it. And I think, Mike, the good news for Howie here is that the 5K is usually not the first thing that people are after.
It's high on the list, though.
It's high on the list. I think like a 10K goes before a 5K, though. I think.
I would say that the way they go, if I had to pick for marathon weekend, and maybe we could talk about the challenges will go first, like Dopey Challenge. Half marathon is the single race that'll go first. So the half marathon will go first, but the 10 and the 10 and the 5 will go really quick.
I mean, they go pretty fast too. I mean, I will say a lot of the 5K runners are mostly dopey. I think like 70% are dopey, but then you got those families. It's great for like the families to run, So I mean, yeah, don't snooze on it by any means, but it's not going to be one of the first things to go, which is good news. But definitely don't just because of that, don't take your time and, be prepared, be ready, follow those tips of having those browsers ready to go. But as long as you're doing those things, you're in there early. I can't promise anything because Run Disney is just crazy these days with registrations, but that should set you up for better success for getting that registration. And I wish you luck.
Yeah, wish you great luck and hope to see you down there. That'd be awesome to see you there at the 5K because I hope to do Dopey one more time. We'll see. I said I wouldn't, but you know how that is. Kind of get bit by the bug again. But again, just set yourself up for success. Like Scott said, be in there early. If the published time is 10 Eastern, be ready to go at 9:15. Because everybody else does. It's the whole, it's just everybody else does it, so you just have to do it too.
Yeah, it's like waiting in line for like concert tickets back in the day. Like, you see one person show up, like, all right, well, I got to get in line now. Yep.
Exactly. It's so stressful, but once you get through it and you get your sign, take a screenshot. Once you sign up, screenshot the registration so you have a copy that you are registered, and just in case. All that kind of stuff.
My other comment for Howie too is if you're on the Facebook social media, seek out the Be Our Guest Lizards.
Yeah, 100%.
Joe does a great job of outlining step by step what to do. There's going to be a friendly advice. There's going to be people sharing links and tips that they do, or even on the day of, people will say oh, the link is open, get in now. That kind of helps you get an advantage because you got this big group that's going to help you. Also, and even if people aren't even registering, they'll try to help. Hey, let me know what I can do to let you know I'm not registering this year, but I'm happy to help. So it's a great community. So definitely seek out the Be Our Guest Lizards.
We had the Halloween race have registration earlier this week out at Disneyland. So I wonder how that went. I didn't sign up for that one because again, football season.
Yeah, and there's no surprise that we record these a little early, so I hope everyone got what they were looking for.
I hope they did too, because Disneyland races are awesome. But I couldn't.
I'm gonna have to mute the Facebook group that day because I'm gonna be jealous of those that are registering, and then I'll be tempted.
I want to go so bad to that race, but I just Mallory's cheering, and
the themes are so good, and
they are.
Emily's her last first football game is that weekend. So I can't miss it.
I know, kids. All right. Whitney's got a question. It says, listener question, Water Parks 101, which I thought is great for you because you are a water parks guy. Hey, Mike and crew, love the podcast. My family, myself, my husband, and our 6 and 8-year-old kids are headed to Walt Disney World for spring break, March 9th through the 14th. That's about when you'll be down there. And despite being what we consider to be seasoned Walt Disney World travelers, we've never been to a Walt Disney World water park. We've decided that we would finally like to take the plunge. See what I did there?
I like it.
Give her a bell there. And visit a water park on this trip. It looks like we'll be going to Blizzard Beach since Typhoon Lagoon is still closed during these dates. I have a few questions about the water park logistics. Number one, it says the water is heated. I'm assuming odds are good it'll be warm enough to visit at least one of the days during our stay. What's your personal ambient temperature cutoff for visiting a water park? She has 3 questions. That's the first one. And by the way, she's from Memphis, Tennessee. So she's a southerner, semi-southerner, mid-south, I would say. So what's too cold for you to go to a water park?
for outdoor temperature, because like I mean, oh man,
I
it's
mean,
tough
you
because
gotta
like
think about-
because they're heated.
It's different though going to a water park than like going to your resort pool, right? Because like at a water park, you're in and out, like going to slides. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you're doing a lot of like in the water and then getting out, standing in line, and you know what I'm saying? Like if you're at your pool, you're say you're staying at Caribbean Beach or whatever, Coronado. Like you're getting in the water and you're just gonna stay in the water and it's heated, so
Right.
you're good to go.
They feel
But
good.
Blizzard Beach, you're gonna, try to do Summit Plummet, you're gonna ride the tubes, like you're gonna be wet and out. That's
It's tough because like your air temperature, your body is just going to be cold. Like I want it to be 80 at least when I'm in a water park, because oh man, that's so tough because like I mean, because if you're running around, you might warm up a little bit too. But like you make the good point, Mike. If you're standing in a line, you're just standing there and you got that water just dripping down you, man, you're gonna get cold. I feel like if it's at a certain temperature. So it's got to be 80 or above for me. I feel like.
Yeah, I'd say like 75 at least.
Yeah,
because I'm cold blooded. Yeah, I'd say probably 75. It's sunny too. You know what I'm saying? Because like the sun helps a ton in Florida, so that's probably 75. Two.
And she's just gonna, because I thought I read something where Blizzard Beach was reopening here, but she's just missing. I mean, Typhoon Lagoon. It's March 16th is when they change over, so it will be Blizzard Beach. It will be the one water park.
Yeah, I knew it was right around that date. I just didn't have it pulled
up.
Like
right at the cutoff. You almost could have gotten both options, which I mean, like at the front end or the back end, it would have been kind of interesting.
Kind of just bugged me though that they can't have both of them open at the same time, because it used to do that all the time. Like you used to be able to go to both. Like I mean, it wasn't impossible.
Yeah.
And Felicia says she's from Wisconsin in the chat, and she says it's got to be at least 70 plus. This is
Florida cold is a real. She is absolutely right. Like I'm from Michigan, man. We say it all the time.
Yes, I agree. Florida cold is a weird cold. It is like it is. That is never so true. Florida cold.
Like at 60 degrees in Michigan, I might be tempted to wear shorts, but not in Florida.
Yeah. I 100% agree. Yeah, it is. Like there's something about it. Like when you get cold in Florida, it can be like tricky cold. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, number 2. How does it work with storing our stuff? Do we claim a lounge chair at the beginning of the day and use that as our home base? Can we leave our stuff on a chair? It seems cumbersome to go back and forth to a locker. So how do you do that? Like, I'll be honest, I'm cheap. Yes, that is what we do.
That's what we do too. I mean, and like, so I've been to like at Alani, they don't really encourage that, right? Because there's so many people wanting those chairs. So they're very good about like, hey, if you're not sitting at this chair for an hour, we're going to move your stuff somewhere. I don't think I've really seen that at the Disney water parks. Now I've only been to Typhoon, which I feel like Blizzard Beach would be set up the same way, but that's what a lot of people do. They'll claim a spot, put a couple towels over it. I mean, you just got to know you're at your own risk with like personal items that might be valuable. But I mean, it's Disney. Like, I can't say what all the other guests are going to do, but I'm going to say with certainty that your stuff's going to be pretty safe. But you never know. There could be that one outlier that something bad could happen.
That gets into her last question. She says, number 3, what do people do with their phones? Obviously, I wouldn't leave that sitting out, but I know I'll want to access it a lot during the day. Do people ever use those waterproof phone pouches that you can get for snorkeling, etc.? Thanks for keeping the Disney magic alive all year long. Whitney down in Memphis. So
I do both. I've done both. So I've left it out. Like, and that's normally when I go to like the pools and stuff at like in the smaller resorts. But I have used those pouches, and I used it in Alani. It was the first time I ever used it, and I was kind of nervous about it. Like, man, I'm gonna put my device in this thing and go in the ocean.
$1,000 phone, right? I mean, if it doesn't work once, you're done.
And then like, and if I take a photo, it's gonna be water on this thing, so like the photos aren't gonna look good. It worked amazingly great, Mike. Like I just had it sitting there. Like I could, check the time or like send off a message or whatever. And I could take most importantly for me was like water photos. Cause I love taking photos like in the pools and the oceans and things like that. And it worked so great. I was so impressed by it. So that's going to be the way I go in the future at the water parks. I would definitely encourage the pouch.
Yeah, Felicia again backs it up from Wisconsin here. She says she uses the pouches, works great for her, and I've used it actually at Castaway Key. And you just have it around your neck and it floats.
Yeah,
and But
And
I mean,
surprisingly, the pictures do surprisingly come out great.
but I'll tell you, man, that first time it's like a leap of faith, man, because you're like, this iPhone cost me, you know, I keep mine for a while, but I mean, when you buy it originally,
and you're using a $10 pouch.
Exactly. Like I bought this thing on Amazon for $12, man. I'm putting this thing as $1,000 in a $12 pouch. God help me. And you because I check every seal. I'm like, God, it looks like I got it, but I don't know. I hope. Dropping it in the ocean.
But now there might be some things that they might not let you do it on, like some of the slides that are like super fast, because that could be a dangerous thing having that around your neck. So don't recommend taking it on some high speed slides, but it's good to have like throughout the park though, for sure.
Good call. All right, have fun, because water parks are a ton of fun, and you know what, they're good for like. And I recommend, I don't know about you, but like for water parks, that's a good day to like combo with like a Disney Springs night. Like that night, do a boathouse dinner or something, or go bowling at Splitsville and have a pizza. I think that's a good kind of combo day.
And they wear you out. Like something about water park. I mean, obviously there's no tire like a Disney tire. There's no tire like a water park tire too.
Oh man, they exhaust you. Oh yeah, they're way more exhausting than a theme park day.
But I like what you're saying about the Disney Springs, because one thing water parks do for me too is make me hungry. So you're gonna want a nice big meal at Disney Springs that night for sure.
Yep. All right, Sydney's got a question here. Hello, Mike, Ricky, Pam, and Scott. We're heading down in September, staying at Art of Animation. I've been to Disney for over 15 years. This will be the first visit for my husband and 7-year-old daughter. My questions are it's about itinerary questions, she says. My questions are: number one, for Hollywood Studios, we plan to rope drop Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. After that, should we plan on hitting Animation Courtyard or head in the direction of Echo Lake and Commissary Lane? Okay, she only has 2 questions. That's the first one. So go straight to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. After that, should they go to Animation Courtyard or head in the direction of Echo Lake and Commissary Lane? What would you do?
I mean, I would go to Echo Lake and Commissary Lane between those 2 options. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, because there's not much going on in animation.
But I mean, because like the Disney Junior thing isn't happening over there, right?
No,
how they used to have like the Disney Junior over in animation. I don't think that's happening right now.
Well, they're going down in September, so by September, will the Little Mermaid show be back open? Because they're reopening that. But you could probably pick that up throughout the day. You know what I'm saying?
That's the great thing. That's the beauty of the shows. Yep.
Yeah, I would definitely head out towards Echo Lake, but I mean, honestly, if you
I would want to go towards Toy Story Land and do like Toy Story Mania or something. Would be my recommendation.
Blinky Dog as soon as you get off Mickey and Minnie's and like hit some of those high target things.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
I like that a lot.
Yep. And for Epcot, we plan to rope drop Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. After that, should we do the rest of World Showcase or head towards UK, Canada in the front of the park? So definitely go towards Future World after Remy's if you're rope dropping that, right?
Yep. Yeah, as long as I definitely, because World Showcase is going to be there all day. I mean, I know the front of the park will be too, but there's not as much like waiting for like attractions in there. You know, you kind of explore on your own in World Showcase. Where I'd want to take advantage of being there early in the park and doing some of those attractions in the front. So I like the idea of road dropping Remy's because you can save a lot of time going there first thing in the morning. And then I would make my way to the front of the park, like Mike said. Yeah,
especially considering you're staying at Art of Animation, you Skyliner over, come in the International Gateway, boom, you're right there at Remy's. So I'm trying to give her some more specific advice though. So I would go down past Canada, maybe do Soarin' and Test Track. Yeah, I mean, I know those kind of older things, and then possibly trying to think because you're probably going to.
It depends on because they have a 7-year-old, so it depends on their height too. Like if they're comfortable doing some of those things too. But I like going to the land because then on the land side there, because you can do Nemo, you can do Imagination, Soarin', Living with the Land. I mean, you can like do some good stuffs on that side of the park, and that's going to be the kind of direction you're heading already.
The 7-year-old daughter, though, I'm trying to think, when are you going to try to get in Frozen Ever After? Because she's probably going to want to do that for sure. Maybe later in the day. I don't know.
Yeah, because you're going to have to do a giant loop to get over there because I'm pretty sure World Showcase is closed off that side, right? In the morning because it opens later.
Yeah.
So if they do Ratatouille, they have to go through the UK, and that's going to be quite the hike to get there. I mean, they can definitely do it, but if I'm making my way up to the front already, I would like to do some attractions on that side of the park.
Good point. All right, here's another
great time. And I mean, the beauty thing too, September. I mean, There's no such thing as an off season anymore at Walt Disney World, but I mean, you're going to have, I mean, the crowd should be a little bit lower there, I would think. So you're going to have an awesome day at Epcot, and you're doing the right thing by getting there first thing in the morning. You could just get a head start on a lot of people there. So excited for your trip.
Yep. Have fun, man. So much has changed in 15 years.
Husband's first time, daughter's first time. You haven't been there in 15 years. It's going to be an awesome trip.
Yes, it is. And she's up in Canada. So let us know how it goes and have a great time, Cindy. All right. We got one from Brittany. She says, hello, Mike and Be Our Guest podcast crew. I have a question for y'all. I like how she thinks, but I don't think this is going to work because I read this one when it came in. If Steakhouse 71's breakfast menu ends at 11 a.m. and lunch starts at 11:30, could I make an ADR for around 11 a.m.? And we would be able to order stuff off the breakfast and lunch menus. I'm thinking my kids would prefer the breakfast items, and my husband and I are super excited to try the stack burger. I know this typically works for character and buffet meals, but I wasn't sure about a place like Steakhouse 71. Thanks for your help, Brittany. Does that work, or do they kind of shut down after breakfast before lunch? Do you know?
I mean, it's continuous. So I think the best bet would just be to ask your server that, like, hey, like, you know, you get seated. Sometimes, you know, I would, this is the sneaky way I am. If it's 11 a.m. breakfast reservation, like, don't check in until like right at 11. Cause like, they're not going to like seat you right at 11, you know? So like check in like at 11. I know this is going to kill Mike a little bit, maybe like 11:05, maybe a few minutes later. And then they'll get you seated closer to like 11:10, 11:15. And then like you're practically lunch at that point. And then like have the kids order their breakfast, and just kind of tell the server like what you're trying to do. And like, I can't make any promises that will work, but like, I feel pretty good about it. As long as like you get the kids breakfast ordered and be like, my husband and I really want to try this burger. Cause like, they're going to be starting making that transition. They're probably already flipping patties back there, you know, in time.
True.
So, but I can't promise that it's going to work, but I like the chances. Like, just don't try to check in early. Like, I know that's how we all like our mind thinks like, oh man, 11 a.m. I got to check in at 10:45. You know, it's tough to like wait, right? And I know I can see Mike's face because I know he loves to be early for everything.
You know me, like my philosophy is if you check in on time, you're late. Like I'm always, you know, if you're on time, you're 5 minutes late. Yeah,
I know, but I feel like if you check in closer to 11, they'll seat you like 11:10ish or something. Like I think it's gonna work out, but I would love to hear how this goes, Brittany. I don't know if she said when her trip is.
I totally want to know. She's one of my guests over at the Magic for Less. So you gotta let us know. Just shoot an email when you get back and let us know if this works, because I think this could be great for all of us.
Yeah, but I think it could, because you're ordering for them. Like, you're not going to be taking up that would be my worry if it was like 10:30 and then you're just kind of sitting there. You know, the server could be getting another table potentially, just waiting for you to order another meal. But you're going to be close to ordering at the same time, I feel like. So I think it might work out.
Yeah, I mean, practicality, it should, right?
Yeah.
Because especially because it's like a kid's breakfast. I mean, there's probably because kids are probably getting a couple of waffles and you know, like a couple of pieces of sausage and bacon. You know what I'm saying? That stuff's probably sitting there anyway.
Yeah.
And they're, like you said, they're probably transitioning to making burgers already. Yeah. I mean, and Kristen says here in the live chat, says, although it's a buffet, I've done this at Akershus. Our server let us go up for both the breakfast and lunch buffet.
Yeah.
Now that's
I am the king of that at Crystal Palace. I've done that so many times.
Like buffets. No, we have done that many times at buffets, at Crystal Palace especially. Because Crystal Palace has good, like if you get that transition time at Crystal Palace, oh Lord.
I call it the Crystal Palace brunch. I purposely book the last breakfast so I can have both.
Yes, that is.
I think you're gonna be fine, Brittany. Just be friendly. Just be friendly. You know, don't be mean about like, hey, I got a question about this, and like, they're gonna want to do whatever they can to accommodate you as long as they can. And I mean, it just makes sense in my head. They're gonna be making the food, you know, while you're sitting at that table. So why not? It's like it's no different than like ordering a cocktail after your meal, you know, or something, like prolonging your meal. Like I think it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, seriously, you're not asking for anything. It's really tough. All right, we got a question from Kate up in New York. She says, hey, Mike, thanks for considering my question below. I'll be working remotely while down in the world for spring surprise weekend. I'm going to be switching hotels so I can work from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Old Key West, but I might have to wait until 4 p.m. or later to check into Boardwalk Villas. I've requested an early room, but if I want an early room, it'll be ready at 5 p.m. And if I'm flying in after work, my room is ready at noon. You know how it is. So she said, you know, if you need it early, it's going to be 5.
That's the true Scotty G way right there.
Like when you need it early, It's always going to be the last room that's available that day. 100. God, I've been there.
I like, before you go into this, I think I know what her question is going to be, but I like Kate's style because I lived at Old Key West and Boardwalk for like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks over COVID, and I was working in both of those locations during that time.
You're made for today's show. Like, these questions are like right up your alley, so it's perfect that you're here. Okay, her question is, where are some places I can work between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. when hopefully my room will be available? I do have a car. I work with numbers, so I'll have a laptop, portable monitor, and a portable mouse. So I need some room to spread out. I also get Teams calls throughout the day, so I would have to be somewhere I could take a call. I'm thinking maybe Bellevue Lounge before they open. Was looking for any other suggestions. Thanks, Kate.
I worked 3 mornings / afternoons at Bellevue Lounge before, because my wife was working remote too, and we would both be on call. So it was difficult because we were like, I think we're in a 1-bedroom. Actually, we might have been in a studio at the Boardwalk, and that's why we did it, so that we could kind of like separate. So yeah, I took my calls at the Bellevue. You know, I just kind of like tucked myself in the corner there. It's not that busy during the early part of the day. So like, not that I wanted to give you like a unique answer, but you already kind of had that answer out there, Kate. But that's 100% what I would do. I would work at the Bellevue. That's my spot.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think of a secondary place at Boardwalk, and I can't really, because the thing is, I was thinking of like there's that conservatory kind of DVC place, but that is not the place to take a call because it's so echoey and loud. Like that is, we've had meetups there for the podcast, and no, that's over at Beach Club.
Oh, you are thinking Beach Club. No, you're thinking Beach Club.
I'm thinking that Beach Club, like
because I've seen people that are working there too, but like
it's super loud.
It's very echoey over there.
Yeah, it's just the acoustics in there are terrible.
And Bellevue is going to have some great 30s background music going on. I'm just going to say that, and that's awesome.
Yes.
I mean, I think I've never been to it, but I want to say there's a conference center at the Boardwalk too. Because I feel like I've seen it when I'm on the Skyliner. When I'm on the Skyliner, I see it. Yeah.
Yeah. So at the Boardwalk Villas, there's you can go down to where the conference area.
So I feel like you can find like a nice open, quiet area in the conference center too.
Yeah.
Even if there's a conference going on, you can kind of tuck your way in a corner where I think it'll be fine too. So that would be my backup alternative.
Yep. All right. Another question. This one is from Caitlin, and she says, "Hey, Mike, love listening to the show. My family, myself, my husband, and our 2 boys, who are 6 and 2 at the time of the trip, are going to be arriving to Pop Century at the end of September. I'm a major planner, and I'm starting to think about where we should eat dinner on our arrival night. That'll be a good start to our vacation. On our 2021 trip, we did Whispering Canyon on our first night, which we enjoyed, but we're trying to mix it up. Was thinking Ohana, something off the Skyliner, or at Disney Springs would be fun. We are going to have the dining plan. Please help with suggestions for our first night's dinner. Thanks, Caitlin."
Okay, Mike, we've had 2 Caitlins and a Kate tonight.
I know, dude,
this is crazy.
What's up? They're all different from different places of the country or the world.
Amazing.
They're all from all over. But and I love this idea. And I don't know, I don't think about this as much anymore, but I used to do exactly what Caitlin does. We always had to have something wild and crazy for the first night we were there. Like, it wasn't like, even if we were in a park, it had to be a character meal or something. The first night was always a big deal for dinner.
Yeah.
So what would you,
you're thinking T-Rex, aren't you, Mike?
Did you T-Rex? Totally. No.
How old? They were 6 and 2 though, right?
They're boys. Yeah, I mean, dude, T-Rex, dude, get the nachos. No,
I don't want to scare the 2-year-old too much though with a dinosaur, but it could be fun. It could be a fun first night. So all right, so they've done Whispering right in the last trip.
I'm thinking maybe Ohana. That would be fun.
I'm on Ohana now. Like I used to be like kind of down on it, but like a couple of years ago, it was actually last year for Princess. We went there and it was really good. But again, I mean, because it's fun. Yeah, you got the ukulele player going around. You know, you can potentially see some fireworks.
I love it. You go to Alani now. You call it the ukulele.
I started saying it wrong and I quick corrected myself.
I love it because dude's been to Alani now, so he calls it the ukulele. Before he went, it was the ukulele.
Yeah, you know, I'm embracing that culture. I love the Polynesian culture.
That's why you're my best friend, man. I love it.
So I'm trying to do a fun like resort place that they can go to. Like I always have a hoot at Beaches and Cream for whatever reason, because you see people getting like the The kitchen sink, I think, is fun. Like the atmosphere, like the jukebox and everything. It's a hard one to get, but I like going there as a first meal of the trip. I think that's kind of fun.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like something besides. Yeah, I'm trying to think of Sam Pop. They're on the Skyliner. Yeah. I would do
maybe a 1900 Park Fair because that's coming back.
Yes, absolutely. Now, what did you think about the characters they're going to have there? By the way, because we're getting just if people haven't heard, it opens early April. I think April 10th. We're getting it's a wild mix. We're getting Aladdin, Maribel. Who else are we getting?
Was Tiana part of that too?
Yeah, we're getting Tiana. It is a wild like mix.
It's not Mary. It's interesting because I like the Mary Poppins, Mad Hatter, the stepsisters. I mean, because that would have been my answer because that was always a wild and fun time.
Yeah,
you know? Like because you'd have like the evil stepmother yelling at people, Mad Hatter going crazy. Like it was. I don't know. Mad Hatter might have been at breakfast though, because they like kind of switched too. Like they had different for breakfast and dinner.
This is like a mismatch, like a. It's wild. Like I was like,
yeah.
Like, are they all going to be there together?
But it could be fun because I like the idea of like a character meal, like you were saying. But I'm trying to think what's at resorts because they might not be going to a park. And that might be like the only one for dinner time, really. You know?
Yeah.
Because most of them are like breakfasts. Like Ohana has the breakfast one.
Yeah, I would go with Ohana because the thing is, that first night you want to. If you're not going to a park, like it's exciting to be close to a park or like to ride a monorail. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to like do a boat, a monorail. They're going to be on a Skyliner. Like I want to have transportation. I want to see a park. I want to be close. Chef Mickey.
Yeah, Beth has it right. I gave her a thumbs up if she was watching.
Pop in? I forgot you control it. I'm like, what's going on?
Chef Mickey's would be fantastic. Yes. I don't know how I didn't think about Chef Mickey's. Thank you, Beth. Yeah, because you get the fab characters, you know, and like you're at the Contemporary. Yeah. So I know we just like gave Caitlin like 5,000 options. So let's narrow it down to 3, Mike. The T-Rex, I think, Chef Mickey's, and maybe Ohana.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Those are your 3.
All right, let's do one more question. And then we'll turn everybody loose for the weekend. What was the name we had a bunch of?
Caitlin and Kate's.
Okay. This is Kristen.
Okay.
I'm just going down as they came in.
It's Kristen, got that sound still. Yeah, it's crazy.
From Savannah, Georgia. She says, "Hey everyone, I've been listening to y'all for the past 2 years and enjoy the podcast so much. Our family of 4 is headed back to Disney in May, and we're thinking about doing things a little bit differently this year. Normally, we are a rope drop to close family. However, our 7-year-old is almost 5 feet tall and no longer fits in a stroller. He's bound to get tired walking, so we thought about taking midday breaks at the resort. I would love some tips on making this work so we're still maximizing our park time. We'll have our car and we're staying at Coronado. Any tips would be appreciated. Thank you, Kristen." Okay, so I'm the master of this. Now here, I'll tell you what I'll give the number 1 tip for this. And this is the pitfall. This is the pitfall that you will get nailed by, especially at the Magic Kingdom. And it's the but one more thing.
Yep.
Pitfall of taking a midday break. So you'll say we're going to be out of here by 11. Okay. And that's like your rule when you go in, right? Because you're having a good old time. The thing is, if you're going to take a midday break, you want a rope drop. You want a rope drop because you're going to take a midday break. So you're taking a chunk out of the day in the middle. So you're going to take a nap. You're going to have pool time, you're going to have chill time in the middle of the day. So you do want a rope drop and maximize the time early. And you'll get so much done in those 3-4 hours early. So you do get a lot done. But the thing is, at 11 o'clock or 11:30, you might say, but let's just do one more ride. Or let's just see one more show. And what happens is, if you do that, or like you might say, let's just stay and see the parade. If you do that, you get so far behind that it pushes everything else in the day. Like all of a sudden, you're getting back to your resort instead of getting back to your resort. Because remember, you got to, if you're at the Magic Kingdom, you got to take a ferry or you got to take, a boat to get to your car. Everything takes a long time to get back to your hotel. You're not, you're Walt Disney World, but it's not magic to be back to Coronado. You're going to have to wait for a bus, whatever transportation. So you got to stick to that. We're going to leave at 11:30, whatever time you decide, you got to stick to it. If you do the one more thing, it might cost you an hour. And then the whole rest of the day is pushed back. And so it's going to cost you later in the day. That's the one, because I've been nailed by that so many times. And I know you're like, oh, we got to bounce out. You got to stick to the time you're going to bounce, because then you still stay on schedule and you can get back to the park at 4 or 5 for your dinner and have the full evening. Because I like the evenings in the parks. I still like my break too. And I don't want to be in the park when it's super hot at like 2:00 in the afternoon. I want to be taking my nap then. So that's my tip. Like, don't fall into the one more thing, thing. So what do you say?
No, I like that. You have to commit to a time and a plan. I mean, that's always hard to do when you're out having fun, right? And then the one more thing happens all the time. But she also talked about like maximizing like their part-time and things like that. So it's costly, and I don't know what the budget is like, but you could also consider Genie Plus as well, so that when you take that break, you can throughout the day, you can start making, reservations for later in the night for whatever park you're going to go back to. So you rope drop, you do standby in the morning, try to get as much done as you can in those first 2 or 3 hours before your break. And then when you go back to the park, you have some fast passes already set. Or I'm so old school, man. I still call them fast passes, but lightning lanes or whatever they're called these days, set up for later that night, so that it can help you maximize your time too. But again, it's going to cost you. You got to pay for that service, but there could be some big benefits there, being able to rest and save your place in line in a lot of those attractions.
No, that is huge, because it's like money in the bank, right? I mean, you're paying for it, but you're stacking those experiences for later in the day while you're at the pool. Your son's napping, you're chilling out, getting some AC when they're heading in May. It could be 90 degrees outside. You're chilling at, I don't know. You're back.
But you're at Coronado. You got you might find that 7-year-old doesn't even want to leave the dig site or those quiet pools.
True.
Because like I love being at Coronado, man.
Same.
So
and that pool, like, the kids might be wanting to fly down the Jaguar slide all day.
It's funny. I'll go to the Coronado pool. I'm actually staying there over spring break, and you know what time it is just by looking at the pool. You get in there, like, and we talked about that question with the phone. Like, maybe I don't have my phone or watch on, but I can always judge time, because it's around like when the pool starts emptying it out, it's like 5:00 because or parents start coming around. Come on, Jimmy, it's dinner time or whatever. And like a kid like yells back, like, but I don't want to go. I want to go down the Jaguar slide 15 more times. Like it's actually like one of my favorite things that people watch is when it's like that transition for dinner time, seeing parents trying to like pull their kids out of the pool, man. It cracks me up.
Oh, hey, and Kristen's out here in the live chat. She's on Facebook. So there you go.
Hey, Kristen.
The inbox. So there, it took a few days to get to it here in the inbox, but we got to it. So yeah, have a good time. That's the midday breaks are totally worth it. Like, because you get recharged that evening once you've had a little bit of a break. You're out of the sun. You just get out of the park, and maybe if you have a park hopper, go to a different park. Even if you don't have a park hopper, just get to kind of have a, refresh on the day, go to the second side of the park or try something different. I'm a huge advocate, because I do that at home every day. I get up at 4:30 in the morning every day. So I take myself a midday break.
But here's going back to that pool comment. I'm not saying this would happen with your family, but it's tough when you have like Genie Plus reservations or dinner reservations, but like sometimes like just leave them in the pool, like a little bit extra. If they're having fun, like, if that's what they're enjoying, like, let them do that sometimes. I'm not saying that's going to happen to Kristen, but I've seen it happen before while I'm at the pool. And like, as long as you're not tied to a reservation, like, let's just let them swim for like another half hour. If that's like the highlight of the trip, that's what it's all about to me. But
100%. Yeah. Cause why fight it? Like, they're having a blast, mm-hmm. But you see it, right? Like, we got to go to the Magic Kingdom.
I've seen kids like pulled out of that pool, man, at the dig site, especially.
Exactly. No, you're gonna go have fun. No, but I'm having fun. Exactly.
Oh man, that's it. You feel for it, but like if you got a Cinderella's Royal Table book, like you're getting out of that pool, you've already prepaid for that meal.
I was gonna say I prepaid for that sucker. We are gonna go. You're gonna go eat your $60 nugs. Anyway,
should we go celebrate President's Weekend now?
We should. I'm not off on Monday. You off? You are.
Oh yeah, I'm off. Yeah,
you sucker. I need to work with you. Anyway, all right. We are going to jump out of here and wish you a great weekend. Have some fun out there. Don't forget today's show and all shows brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'll be there on Monday helping you plan great Disney vacations all weekend as well. All the details over at themagicforless.com. No cost to you. That's the great advantage. It doesn't cost you anything to use our services, and first-class service each and every time. Again, check it out over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That really does help support everything we do throughout the year. BeOurGuestPodcast.com/Amazon, and you can support us on Patreon starting at just $5 per month. That really does support everything we do, and you'll get a bonus show every week called Mike in the Midwest. So come on over, patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. Give this guy a follow on social media. He's awesome at Epscott, EPSCOT. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike, Instagram, Twitter /X, and Threads. And of course, we'll have the live call-in show this Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, all the places. Give us a call and we'll talk Disney and take your call. So that'd be a lot of fun as well. So we will be back together again on Monday. We'll have the replay from this past Thursday night. We did a live call-in show. So if you missed that, we'll have that on the feed. So it's a little bit different this week. It's going to be wild. I mean, it's different. It's what it is. So we love having you here as a listener, and we hope you always enjoy the show. So if you have a question, you can always email that to the show at mike@beourguestpodcast.com. All right. Have a great weekend. Whatever you do, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon.
Woo! I don't think we had a live show for that one, though, because it was the Super Bowl.
No, but we're going to do the Thursday night.
I thought that was going to be for a Monday show. I thought
it is. It's going to be for the next Monday. And maybe I said it wrong. I don't know.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all good.
Hang on. Let's save this real quick.
I confused you. Sorry.
No, you're right. I said it wrong.
It's all good.
I'm hungry. I totally said it wrong. I derailed it.
As you said it for Thursday, but it was going to be for Monday's show. I think. I don't know. Because this is Friday's episode.
What I meant was for Monday. What you're going to hear on Monday is going to be Thursday's call.
Gotcha.
But I
gotcha.
Wrong. That's what I think.
Maybe you did say it right. I don't know.
What I was thinking was what you'll hear on Monday is Thursday's call-in show.
Yeah. I think you might have said that right. You might have said it right.
Who knows?
I don't know.
Nobody listens at the end of the show. When I get to the end of the podcast, I tune out. I don't listen. All right. Well, thanks for saving my skin again, and tell the girls I said hello.
Yeah, tell the girls we say hello too. I'm gonna go. I think the heat's back on, so I think she's at robotics. So
the heat is on. I'm fried.
Dude, they do robotics 5 days a week. Isn't that nuts? It's from 6 to 9.
That is, dude, 15. That's a job.
15. And that's exactly what I said. You're spending 15 hours.
Yeah, it's 15 hours a week,
and it's awful time. 6 to 9.
It is.
Man. Yeah.
Because I mean, a lot of those kids probably want to have like part-time jobs. I mean, you couldn't.
I know you can't. It's like
couldn't work at like a Dairy Queen or anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I hope they will.
All right. Yeah. I'll see you later. Have a good week.
Yep. See ya. Take care, buddy.
Bye, everybody.